Shall we start? Yes? Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitayav Pataye Namaha. The Ramayana, as we know, is the story of Rama as an avatar. Avatara means Bhagavan walking on earth. Avatar. This known as Itihasa. Itihasa. This is how it was. This is the word Itihasa. This is how it was. And as you know, there is many Ramayanas. What are some of them? Valmiki Ramayana, the most well known. Kamba Ramayana, Kamban from Tamil Nadu. Tulasidas, Ramcharitamanas, and then many Ramayanas like this. And of course, there will be little flares of creativity by the author, little changes will be there, but for the most part, it is the same. The story of the vanquishment of evil, wrongdoing, adharma, and the sthapana of dharma. That is basically the Avatara's job in any case, isn't it? Avatara's job is to remove the adharma and put back, re-establish dharma. This is what is the thing. And of course, one more Ramayana is there from the Sri Lankan version. Anybody knows that? So the Ravana is the hero in this. And Rama is the villain in this. So when I went to Sri Lanka, I was surprised to find Ravana Sita Bridge, Ravana Sita Garden, Ravana Sita Park, Ravana Sita Building. And then you say, what happened? This is not our story. And what would they say? They would say, well, you know, this Rama came and tried to spoil it all and it was just terrible. They were actually in love. And I said, then why did Sita marry Rama? No, familial pressure. They have an answer for everything. Familial pressure. Family put a lot of pressure. So poor thing, what will she do? She's a princess. She has to follow by the rules. And so she married Rama. But they pined for each other, so they had a agreement that he would come and abduct her, so to speak, and take her away to her rightful place, which is what? Sri Lanka. So then you say, you think this is logical, right? And so then you say, but then why did she throw away all her head jewelry and hair jewelry and her what is that, bangles and anklets to make a little trail to show that she had been? No, no, it's not how it happened. Ravana said, Priye, why are you wearing another man's jewels? He gave.
Oh my God.
So, throw them all away. When we go to Sri Lanka, I'll get you lots of jewels.
Oh my God.
She threw them away. So, this is the story. This is a love. 2-3 people I talked to, and then after the first time, I just listened politely without being horrified, and just listened. And I said, okay, because this just shows that Bhagavan is allowing this version also to be there. So, okay, there must be some purpose being fulfilled. Who are we to remove? Because once it catches the popular imagination, it's almost impossible to route it out. It's not possible at all. So that is one more Ramayana, Sri Lankan Ramayana. Then we also have 4,000 verses of what is called Adhyatma Ramayana. Adhyatma, Atmanam Adhikritya Tishtati iti Adhyatma. Meaning, the Ramayana centered not on Rama, not on Sita, not on even Ravana for that matter, but centered on what? Myself. Yeah. Atma is I. Adhyatma is centered on myself. Centered on myself is this Ramayana. So the Ramayana is all about me. It gives an understanding of me. What is it that gives an understanding of me? Self-knowledge. That's what gives an understanding of me. So the Ramayana as an allegory, as an allegorical narrative of self-knowledge is called Adhyatma Ramayana. It comprises 4,000 verses. Okay, it comprises 4,000 verses. 4,000 verses means how many of them will we be able to cover? 0. Okay, yeah. Because it's just a lot of verses. So I'll give you a little bit of a synopsis, and then we'll just have to be, that will have to suffice for the length of the time that has been allotted to me, which is 1 hour. So then we have first, before we get into this, the story itself, we should see the major ways in which it departs. Adhyatma Ramayana departs from Valmiki Ramayana, and it is very telling why it does that. So the main thing is that in the Adhyatma Ramayana, also in the Ramcharitmanas, I think that there is this particular thing is there. What is that? The shadow Sita business. What is the shadow Sita business? So the Sita that is abducted is not our real Sita. More about that later, what that means and all that. The Sita that is abducted is just a shadow of herself. So the real Sita, when she desires the golden, what is it called? Deer. The golden deer she desires, Rama says, my dear, you need to go in the fire now. Wait, she may say, the fire chapter comes much later. No. You need to enter the fire now, because the fire is not going to burn you. It's going to protect you, and because she is very pure. So the fire cannot burn her, and she being the goddess, she is immune to the fire, which is like a father figure which embraces her and keeps her safe. While the shadow Sita, who is equally sweet, equally beautiful, equally amiable, for all practical purposes and for the world to see, follows Rama and appears to get kidnapped, appears to be taken to Sri Lanka, and appears to be rescued later on. Okay. So then this is there in the Adhyatma Ramayana. The real Sita is just in a kind of hibernation, in a hibernation or fire hibernation. So, and then she comes back afterwards when that the so-called, what is that called, Agni Pariksha takes place, then the real Sita emerges from the fire and then all is well, that kind of a thing. The Uttara Ramayana is seen as an interpolation. What is this Uttara Ramayana? Where she is taken by Lakshmana to a picnic by herself, the pregnant Sita, and abandoned in the forest because a washerman said, oh, she has been living in the kingdom of another man, how can she be the queen of Ayodhya? Okay, and then that is a later interpolation by a patriarchal mindset or somebody having a patriarchal mindset and who wanted to rewrite the ending of the story. That is not there. The Ramayana finishes with the crown prince of Ayodhya and the crown princess being ordained to be the rulers. This is what the thing is. So as you can see, this Rama is itself this is how the Adhyatma Ramayana begins. Parvati is in meditation and Parvati approaches Lord Shiva for some instruction and some Q&A. This is how their marriage is. Their marriage is just studying texts all the time. Sometimes the Guru Gita, sometimes this, sometimes something else. Sometimes she's asking about Vishnu Sahasranama. This time she says, my Lord, she tells who? She tells Lord Shiva, my heart is not at ease. Why is your heart not at ease? My beloved, he asks. She says, my heart is not at ease because I find Rama being a very confusing figure. If he was Bhagavan, because he is an avatara. Avatara means what? Fully cognizant of who he is. And look in the stories of how Rama's life and this Krishna's life unfolds, Krishna does not sit and cry. When he is not given the butter, you don't see baby Krishna going, ah. What does he do? Climb over the backs of other boys and then steal it. He takes. So Krishna is a very different figure. And in Parvati's mind is that unrest because she says, here is the fellow who cries. And like a madman, he hugs the tree and says, have you seen my Sita? Have you seen Sita after she is abducted? Is he really Bhagavan or has he become steeped in Maya? This is what I'd like to know. I find Rama a very confusing figure. And then again, why did he leave Ayodhya? Because the stepmother created a ruckus. The stepmother, did not know how to spell Rama. So what did she do? Had a big drama, okay, with a D in front of Rama. So had a drama about Rama, and then as a result, he trotted off to the forest because to keep the father's wishes. Which kind of a Bhagavan does that? If you are God, why would you do that? Parvati asked, well, why could he not with his powers? God means Ishvara is everything. So with his powers he could have put an end to it. He could have said to Kaikeyi, silence. This is not happening. I am not going anywhere. I am Bhagavan. And Lord Krishna declares himself to be Bhagavan. Where? In the Bhagavad Gita. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritrāṇāya sadhūnām vināṣāya ca dushkrutam dharma samsthapanārthāya sambhavami yuge yuge. He declares himself. He says, I have created myself with the force of my own Maya Shakti. I have given myself a body and my purpose is to establish dharma and root out adharma. This is who I am. Janma cha maranam cha me divyam. My birth and death are both divine. They are otherworldly. They are not worldly. They are immaculate. And so, janma, karma, everything is divine. And so this is, you cannot, he declares himself. So we don't see any such declaration of Rama in the Ramayana. Rama cries, Rama screams, Rama yells, Rama says, oh, I don't. And then Rama says also, when he goes to sage Vasishtha, what does he say? My heart is at unease. You can imagine an Arjuna saying that in the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna giving him a pep talk. But here, the avatara itself needs a pep talk. What kind of a Bhagavan is this? Parvati says, how can I be devoted to such a Bhagavan? How can I have devotion? Because all he is exhibiting in this avatara are human traits, fallibility, weakness. And then he says, I don't know how, Ravana is big, I don't know how to have this war. And then the whole Aditya Hridayam is taught to him to give him some courage. And then he goes to, another time he goes to sage Vasishtha, and then he says, I don't know how to get enlightened. Please, I want to know what are the sadhanas that I can do in order to gain this knowledge. And then we have a text called Yoga Vasishtha. Yeah. Very strict text. If you start reading it, then you'll feel like going to a forest somewhere. Except because of deforestation, there are no forests left. That's the thing. But it gives intense vairagya, this text. So naturally, because of these reasons, Parvati is confused how to be devoted to this Rama who has nothing except human frailty, human limitations. And Shankara, Shiva explains. Shiva says, no, you got it all wrong. Why? Because he has human frailty, because he is not supposed to be an embodiment of Ananda. Krishna is the embodiment of Ananda. And Rama is the embodiment of Dharma. Dharma means what is correct, what is right, and what is right for me. All these three things constitute Dharma. Sadharan Dharma, Samanya Dharma, Vishesha Dharma, Swadharma, all of them together constitute Dharma. And so this is what it entails. I am the one that is needing to have a dharmic life. Why? It is the first thing that is desired. Oh, but I don't want to be good. Who says that's the first thing I want? I want money, I want fame, I want wealth. Not necessarily that I want to be righteous or good. Why is it the first Purushartha? You may not want to be good, but do you want other people to be good to you? Yes? No? What happened after lunch? Before lunch, at least one or two voices were coming. Do you want other people to be good or not? Yes. I want them to open the door when I pass. I want them to tell me the truth. I don't want people to defraud me. I don't want people to thieve from me, rob me. Now, how do you ensure that? By not robbing others, by not thieving, by being polite, by doing all kinds of things. And so this is the story, really. And so when you see an avatara who is an embodiment of dharma, that means she has to follow the dharma no matter what. And if the avatara is following the dharma in a human body, then of course there will be pain. They have to go through pain. This is the demonstration of dharma. Dharma is not easy. If dharma is easy, everybody would follow. Adharma is easy, at least in the beginning. It looks easy. After that, you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it twice. First in the local lockup, and then in the karmic lockup. Karmically, you have to pay, and then Even if the local lockup you escape, karma catches. The police catch first and then karma catches afterwards. You have to pay doubly for both for anything done. So, but adharma looks easy in the beginning, and then dharma looks difficult. Dharma is very difficult because it involves sacrifice. And Lord Rama shows what? An embodiment of sacrifice. That's why he hurts. There is that pain, and that he demonstrates to show us all that following dharma is not easy. It's not going to be a candid life full of, when you make dharma your main purpose, the life is going to be peppered with a lot of difficulties and inconveniences which you have to go through, and in order to grow, in order to just be one with this dharma, in order to master dharma. So this is the reason he shows the human frailties and all these things. And then he says, Lord Shiva directs Parvati to a later portion of this Adhyatma Ramayana, a few verses, a set of verses, a subset of verses called Rama Gita. And in Rama Gita, Hanumanji comes after they have gone back to Ayodhya. They vanquish who? Ravana and the whole baddies in Sri Lanka, and they go back in an expandable plane. It can be a 2-seater or a 50-seater, because all the Vanaras, we shouldn't call them monkeys. Naro va nava iti shanka. Are they human beings or not? This is the doubt. That's why Vanaraha. And so these Vanaras, these humanoids, this humanoid tribe to which Hanumanji belonged to, they all go to Ayodhya. And there, Mother Sita gives, there is that wonderful story, Mother Sita bestows on Hanumanji, who saved her life, a beautiful pearl necklace. And what does he do? He doesn't break it, he cuts through, he bites through it. Bites through each pearl and spits it out. Again bites through the pearl, spits it out. Lakshmana is very upset because he is very protective of Mother Sita, and he says, what are you doing? The goddess gave you a necklace and you are destroying it. He says, I'm not destroying it, I'm looking for Rama. There is no Rama. And wherever there is no Rama, I'm not interested in it, I'm throwing it out. Then Sita, taking pity on Hanuman, says, I am not angry at all. In fact, by your bhakti, you have shown me that you are ready for mukti. Sita becomes the teacher of Brahma Vidya in the Adhyatma Ramayana, and she says, the first thing to know is, who is Rama? And as soon as he hears the word Rama, Hanumanji gets into this prayerful pose. And Sita has to tell him that all is fine, but Rama is much more than an object of devotion. So Rama is presented in 3 ways. One is as an object of devotion. That is right in the beginning, because in the beginning of the quest, the mind is all over the place. The mind is everywhere. The mind does not find a place to rest. The mind does not have a place to even, have that ekagrata, focus. The mind cannot have focus. Mind is distracted. And especially in this day of, what are they called, devices. Before we only had desires. Now we have devices and desires to contend with. This is the problem. And so the mind is all over the place. For such a mind, what do we need? We need japa, chitta naishchalyam. And the mind, which is full of all these devices and desires, is thinking, who shall I manipulate next? What shall I get out of this person next? How shall I go about next? How to be a go-getter? This is how the mind full of desires behaves. And so for that mind, what needs to be done is that in order to bring it to a certain kind of a focus, you need to give it an object of devotion. So this is Rama as Ishtadevata, a personal deity. And then anybody can say, he's just like me. Why? I cry. He also cries. When Sita left, he also cries. And I also sometimes wonder, what should I do? What should I not do? He also, we see him wondering what to do, what to not do. And so in this way, there is a kind of a bond of devotion with Rama as a god to be worshipped by choice, an avatara to be worshipped by choice. Parvati reveals that. She says, but that's not that's not the place to stop. You have to go a little further than that. You have to go a little further than that and see this Rama as that consciousness. What is this consciousness? Sat Chit Ananda. That which exists, Sat, the source of all existence, Satyam, Sat, and then that which is Chit. Because what kind of a Sat is it? Is it a dead Sat or is it a sentient Sat? Sentient Sat. That is Chit. Chit is Sat, Sat is Chit. How long do this Sat Chit last? Forever. Forever, ever, 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 ever. Totally forever. And so that is Ananda. Because that which I want is forever. I don't want that which does not last. More we shall see about this tomorrow.